Thanks for tuning in to the second episode of the Sultan of Slow Drip podcast. I am your host, the Sultan of Slow Drip, also known as Justin Doggett, founder and owner of Kyoto Black Coffee, located here in Chicago. And this is my assistant, man extraordinaire of the hour, Victor Chan.
Hey guys, what's up? Thanks for having me again.
Thanks. So we're really pumped to bring you this second episode. Very happy to keep it consistent with you and dropping more coffee knowledge. So just so you know, you can expect to see these episodes every other Tuesday on YouTube. And then also let us know if there are any other places where you like to consume video and audio so we can make it available there as well. So if you could just leave a comment and let us know, hey, we'd appreciate it if you put it on Spotify or Apple or whatever. That would really help us know where we can meet you. So with that said, just to let you know, for anyone who is new to the podcast, we are focused on Chicago coffee scene, specifically events revolving around my company, Kyoto Black, which is a small company. We deliver premium Kyoto-style cold brew to customers in all 50 states. So check us out at kyotostylecoffee.com if you're interested in subscribing to that. And then also it's available at various retail locations within the city. You can visit the website, again, kyotostylecoffee.com, to see those locations. So today's episode is pretty interesting. We'd have a live demo for everyone. So make sure you tune in at the very end of this episode to see what that live demo is. But we are doing a coffee cupping.
Yeah, what is cupping?
So cupping is basically where you take coffee and you put it in cups, and then you taste it using a spoon.
And so the purpose of it is to evaluate the nature of the coffee?
Yeah. Okay. So it's funny. I was just thinking maybe we should call it spooning because you use a spoon. But yeah, basically you're creating a French press that is not pressed. It's just kind of sitting there in the cup, and you use little techniques to taste it and evaluate the coffees. And you can use it for a lot of different purposes. Mm-hmm. You can use it to compare different coffees, or also you can set up different samples of the same coffee. You might have 5 different samples of the same coffee, and you would taste to see how consistent each cup is.
Sure.
Because
from different roasts.
No, from the same actual bag.
Oh yeah, even same bag, and even with different water and things like that.
Yeah, you can do it with different water, but you can also do same coffee, same water, same everything.
Oh.
Yeah, because here's one thing that is another dimension of coffee is consistency. Mm-hmm. Every time that you go and get a sample of coffee from that bag, you want each sample to taste the same, right? Mm-hmm. Coffee actually has variance from bean to bean because these are, if you think about a farm situation, just like when you go get a bag of oranges or apples and you're like, damn, that was a good orange, or that was a good apple, right? There's going to be some that are better than others,
outliers.
Right? There are going to be outliers.
Okay.
The same thing's true with a cup of coffee because each bean is its own individual thing.
Wow.
And the consistency from one cup to the next within the same batch is actually one of the qualitative ways that we in the industry evaluate a cup of coffee or a coffee product, such that the more consistent it is across different tastings, the higher the score should be.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that how it is?
That's exactly how it is.
Okay, good. So it's a disservice to overgeneralize.
Yes.
Right? So each bean is its individual unique bean. Mm-hmm. Kind of as a metaphor for people too.
yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. But in any case, though, the cupping format is just a tried and true way that's been used in the industry for decades now to evaluate coffees. And you can use it across so many different dimensions. It's a really good format to know about. I know that in this current environment, it does kind of require a little bit of exposure to other people, in terms of your tasting of coffee.
Oh, yeah.
But there's ways to create protocols where you can separate, your cupping. So, for example, Victor had his own setup completely different from mine. I was showing him a video of like the pre-COVID days, back in the olden days.
6 people rotating through the same 2 cups.
Yeah, you had 6 people rotating on a table, all using different spoons, but tasting from the same cup. Right. And the only thing that we were using between tastings is just rinsing our spoon off in a cup of water.
The good old days.
Yeah, right. Back when man, remember Black Friday? Just swarms of people everywhere, right? But the actually going through the cupping got me thinking about why we even taste things in the first place. You know, it's not obvious to me that we should have developed in such a way, I mean, as people, to taste things.
Yeah.
It's just, you know,
Grateful
animals
for it, though.
Yeah, exactly. Animals eat for survival generally.
Right.
And
right,
one of the
right.
things that at least sets us apart is we tend to kind of savor things. Like you were saying before, what, you eat with your eyes first, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then your nose.
Right.
Right. And then you dig in, right?
Right.
And we seek subtleties and nuances and different intricacies that, you know, most animals don't really care about.
So yeah, kudos to those, you know, that are striving to hit every sense.
Yes, yes. And it's important to develop your ability to engage your senses,
Yeah.
right? To become more acquainted with your nose and become more acquainted with your tongue and to taste things with intentionality. So we're hoping that people who gravitate towards this podcast are people who want to develop their palates, and we'll be going through more products to taste, more cuppings. And we'll be doing something that I'm really interested in doing, which is a taste of water. We're going to taste different waters together.
Oh, cool.
And talk about how mineral composition of the waters actually affects the flavor, the texture, the drinking
Cool.
experience.
Yeah.
And we have a great source for really fine waters across the street.
Oh, really?
Devon Market.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so they're Eastern European
Yeah.
ownership, and they have waters from Slovenia, from Georgia, from Russia, from all these different places that actually, because in America, we don't really have a water culture in terms of drinking water and minerality. In other countries, in Europe especially, water is looked at as a functional beverage. So the source is important. The mineral content is important.
Are these something that minerals that they add, or is that's from where they found it?
It's their source minerals.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yep. So
Okay, that's
as that water goes through different volcanic rocks and limestone, and you know, it starts to wash away the actual minerals from those stones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. I mean, most people don't know this, but if you drink distilled water, it's incredibly bad for you. Yes.
I had no idea.
Distilled water is really, that's why they say don't give it to infants. If you ever see that on distilled water, it says do not give to infants.
I will keep an eye out for that.
Yeah. You want to guess why it's bad for you?
No.
It has no minerals.
Okay. Well, I didn't know why that was bad, but okay.
Do you know why having no minerals is bad for you?
No. Well, it's like you need your macros and your minerals.
Well, yeah, but it's not obvious as to why having
No, it's
water
not
with no
obvious.
minerals, right?
No.
It's because of osmosis.
Oh, okay.
So
like hypotonic, hypertonic, isotonic stuff.
So basically, if you consume water that has no minerals, the osmotic effect of that water is to strip minerals from your body
Yeah.
because water is a solvent.
Mm-hmm.
And what it does to rocks, it'll do to your bones.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just pull it out.
Yeah. So if you drink distilled water over long periods of time, you end up getting osteoporosis, all kinds of health problems because you'll be pulling that.
This is probably the most profound episode you've ever produced, Justin.
You'll be pulling that out and you'll be peeing that out. Yeah. Your calcium and magnesium and all that stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, drink mineral water.
Thank you.
So
I'm gonna go pick some up after this.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You're gonna run and just start pounding heavily mineral water.
Okay.
Right. So actually, this makes a pretty interesting segue to the question of the day. It doesn't, but I'm gonna pretend that it does. So Chicago is now at tier 1. Is it right?
Yeah. You know, it's
far
like
as-
depending on who you ask, and just based off the day, it's been only a day, and
Yeah.
And it happened very hastily, very fast, right?
It was just announced last week, like a few days ago, that we were going to tier 1 as far
I
as
saw it
restaurants
Thursday or
go.
Friday, yeah, that they were about to.
Yeah.
and before that it was rumors, but
Right.
From the threads and the groups that I kind of just subscribe to, like the industry, the Chicago industry threads and groups, depending on who you talk to, I think the majority, if you're in the industry, are
Yeah.
a little worried.
Yeah, I saw
Worried
that.
because I mean, they might not have gotten vaccinated,
Right.
or you can't control, how closely their consumers adhere to the mask
Right.
policy and the social distancing policy.
Right.
Maybe their employers don't have the greatest healthcare benefits, so
Mm.
as a backup plan or a safety net, if they were to get sick, they might not be protected.
Right.
And then you have those that this is like their livelihood as a business. This
Yeah.
is how they need to survive. So they're kind of forced to open.
They're getting pulled from both ends, where it's like
Yeah.
necessity but safety,
and then same thing on the consumer side. I mean, some don't feel safe to go out yet, then don't
Right.
go out, right?
that's true.
And then if you do feel comfortable, just still continue
respectful,
to be
right?
respectful,
Yep.
and go out safely.
So the difference between what we were at before and now is essentially indoor dining is allowed,
Yeah.
right? I think the group size is a maximum of 6 people.
4 per table.
4 per table?
Yeah, 4
Okay.
per table and 25% capacity.
25% capacity. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then social distancing, all that stuff,
Yes,
obviously
still
in place.
applies,
And when you are eating, it's fine to remove your mask. But if you're not eating or if you're away from the table, mask up.
Correct.
Right. So I'm hopeful that this time around we can actually make some progress in the right direction.
I hope so. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm hopeful as well. And then the other reason why people are probably worried is because you start hearing about the COVID-19 variant. And,
Right.
how it's evolving and mutating,
Yeah.
and it's even more, worse. It might be worse.
More
than the-
contagious?
More contagious.
Right.
Who knows? It's a lot of unknown,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
if that's the case, then do what you got to do to stay safe, and don't go out yet, and
Yeah. And that's always in play. I mean, do what you're comfortable with doing.
Yeah.
I always tell people if they're not comfortable with going out, don't go out. Like,
Yeah.
I know it's tough for people who have to work in these environments, and that's I'm in the food service industry myself, so I get it.
Yeah, and so, and also on the business side, it's like having that 1 day's notice or 2 days notice. Like they have just done all these, structural or facility changes to make a takeout program happen
Right.
and things like that. And so they might not have the staff or
Mm-hmm.
the capability to realign indoor dining.
Well, nothing says that because it's available that you have to do it.
No. Yeah.
So you can still keep
go at
doing
your own
takeout,
pace,
and
yeah.
for establishments, I'm sure a lot of them will still
Right.
stay at level 2,
Yeah.
in their own minds.
Yeah, it's a team effort. So
Yeah.
depending on how your team's doing, if they don't feel comfortable, then you should really listen to your team.
Right.
And when everyone's on board, because that's your backbone. That's who makes your business run. And
Exactly.
so if they don't feel comfortable, one way or another, either they walk or they get sick, and then
Yeah.
you won't have a
You
back-
won't
you won't have a
them.
team. So
Right. Exactly.
So kind of really flesh it out. Be very transparent with your team, and then hopefully things get back to some sense of normalcy.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah, hopefully. Now that things are kind of moving in that direction, do you think you will dine out at all? What do you think you're going to do?
Yeah. I mean, I have, before it was completely gone, before indoor dining was completely gone, I was still going to places with like bay windows open and things
Right.
like that. Might have to bring a jacket. And they did I think they did a great job
Okay.
socially distancing people and just requiring you to wear your mask, when you're away from the table. And I feel like it would have worked all this whole time, but people
These
above
things-
us, these are decisions that are made above us.
Yeah, and we'll never know what was the right thing to do and what was the wrong thing to do because you don't get a
No.
do-over.
No, and it's always better to be safer than sorry, and sometimes to certain people's expense, unfortunately. But as far as looking forward to the future, personally, if whoever I'm going with, or if I go by myself, like if I were to speak for myself, I would feel comfortable patronizing some of these businesses if they were to open. if
Yeah,
they're
do you have any
comfortable open.
particular kind of food you're looking forward to having again?
Oh shoot!
Because I know there's just some things it's just different if you don't have it in the actual establishment. Like for me personally, I'm actually looking forward to getting some pho.
Oh,
Because getting pho at home is not the same.
takeout pho is not the same.
It's not the same at all.
Like takeout ramen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Burger joints. It's like fries don't survive
They don't.
in takeout containers.
Buns
so
don't survive.
Buns don't survive.
Yeah.
Even pretzel buns don't survive.
They do
So
not.
I'm looking forward to a good burger.
Yeah.
I had reservations to Curtis Duffy's Ever.
Oh, nice.
And I had to forego those
Oh, that sucks.
during the time. So
Yeah.
they said they're open February 16th. We'll see, because you got to put a down payment and stuff. We'll see if
Gotcha. They're doing a mean burger, aren't they?
they're doing Rave Burger. It is a mean burger,
Uh-huh.
and it's out of the same kitchen, but it's like REVE with a tilde over the second E, I
okay.
think. So it's, or maybe the first one. So it's like Rave. It's good. It's solid.
Okay.
But like with DoorDash and takeout and delivery, like for a burger, the burger base off the base costs $18, and you get fries with it, and by the time it's delivered to you with DoorDash, it ends up being like $30 with all the fees and stuff.
That's
so I can
nuts.
only do that so many times before
Yeah.
I start hurting financially. And
Yeah.
you want to support these local businesses, and you do so if you're able to. you know?
Yeah. Wow, $30 for a
$30
burger.
burger.
That's crazy. They say inflation's not happening. Okay.
I actually had au cheval, and that was pretty good. That was
yeah?
that was still like a $15 burger.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
I just picked it up. I didn't do DoorDash. So
Okay.
if
$15, you must not have gotten bacon on it.
shit, maybe I did. Maybe it was like a $16, $17 burger. But regardless, I got 2 of those for the same price as one, DoorDash Rave
Okay.
burger. So, I know they got to do whatever they got to do to get their product out to people. But
Yeah.
you know.
I received a pro tip one time, and that was if you ever wanted to get the au cheval burger but not wait as much, go to Bavette's or Guilt Bar.
I've never heard of either of those.
They're in the same hospitality group, Hog Salt.
Oh,
Basically, au cheval, as far as I can tell, and any au cheval experts can check me on this, but au cheval was essentially items from these other restaurants, from Guilt Bar and Bavette's, just turned into a new concept.
Guild Bar.
Yeah,
GILD?
GILT.
GILT.
Yeah, Guilt Bar. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They have an incredible ice cream, cake, like chocolate mousse cake. Their bread.
Are they all in the same area?
Yeah,
that,
actually,
like, West Loop
Bavette's,
area?
yeah, Bavette's and Guilt Bar are like pretty much a few doors down
I
from
didn't
each
know
other.
that.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it. Okay.
They're over in like the River North area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know.
So,
I will have to check them out.
yep, it's. I never had to wait going there like you get with au cheval.
Well, that's another thing with au cheval. You don't have to wait now.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
I don't know. Drop it in the comments below. What is the longest wait time you've waited for au cheval? I'd like to know.
I waited 6 hours.
No way.
Yeah.
Longest
We-
like only an hour and a half for me.
We left and came back.
yeah,
we
but like
just- yeah.
6 hours?
It was because we have friends visiting
Yeah.
and we wanted to take them,
Oh.
and it was just like,
Okay, what's an underrated burger place you'd want to go back to?
an underrated. What if I said like we're at like peak hype for burgers in Chicago?
We are, but there are places that are underrated. Like one comes to mind. Scofflaw comes to mind.
Scofflaw. I haven't had their burger.
Ooh, yeah. It's
See,
only
I'm
like
not-
$10 too.
Oh wow. See, I'm not going around like burger
Oh.
like so much. I'm not on the burger train so much yet.
That'd be my last meal.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out now. Okay, Scofflaw.
Not Scofflaw. I'm just saying burgers in general would be my last meal.
Okay, isn't Scofflaw closed now?
Not permanently.
Okay.
I saw something about them.
Okay, yeah, I
reopening.
thought they might be shuttered.
Cafe Marine Jean is.
Or Marie Jean?
Yeah, Marie Jean.
Yeah.
They have a mean. Had a mean.
Had a
burger.
mean, yeah.
Theirs
I told you I
is-
used to work there. Like,
No.
yeah,
Yeah?
yeah. I used to
Oh,
work at Cafe
okay.
Marie. Yeah,
Okay.
it's legit. Their food is incredible.
I've never been. It's
Yeah.
a shame. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's sad what happened, but
Well, maybe they come back eventually.
yeah, hopefully we'll see. But yeah, I never really got like so much into the burger like scene. But have you heard of Chicago Secret Burger? I'll show you their Instagram
Yeah.
after this. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's got me.
That's a
kinda-
place. Or
it's-
is that just a profile with like all these burgers?
It's a burger speakeasy type thing where
Oh,
they
cool.
do a Instagram raffle. It seems, and you just like they're like, meet me at this corner and I got a burger for you, like that. Kinda,
What?
yeah, like that kind of deal.
Like the tamale man? Like
Yeah, yeah, they're like the new tamale man, like 100%.
The Loyalist. Have you been there too?
I have not been there, but actually it's on my list.
That's also pretty good.
So when the burger thing really started to hit, that's when the lockdown started to hit.
Really?
In terms of at least my knowledge of it.
Oh,
like when
okay,
I saw
okay.
burgers start popping off, like Chicago Eater doing like the top 18 burgers you have to have for $18.
They've been doing that. I mean, that's how Au
Like-
Cheval kind of popped off. Like,
They did it. Maybe I just didn't like
Years
tune it
ago.
because they did that, and then they did it with the fries as well. They had their list of like places to
Oh.
get fries from.
No, yeah.
So I was late to the game. I guess I don't know. I was probably
good.
drinking coffee, just not like whatever.
That's cool. That's
It's a
cool.
burger. I was on my fried chicken game because if you recall,
too.
I was an early adopter of the KFC chicken
Yes, you
sandwich.
are.
Like very
Yeah.
early adopter of that.
Before it
so-
popped off on
Before it
Twitter.
popped off, I was
Yeah.
like, yo, you got to go get that thing. Like, trust me. Like, but actually, have you been to Jollibee?
I have. Not impressed.
What?
Yeah.
Did you get the spicy?
I did. Yeah.
Cut. All right, I'm sorry. I can't do this show anymore. Talk to my agent.
Oh shit.
Yo,
Jollibee. So hi.
Jollibee,
You're
like-
raving about Jollibee.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think it's better than Popeyes. Like, and
Oh.
like,
Okay. Well, I mean, we've talked about like Roosts before,
yeah,
but Jollibee.
Jollibee.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird.
Are you doing anything to it? Are they asking for anything special?
Nah,
Any
man,
special
I'm
sauce?
just-
Anything like that?
I'm just eating it.
Okay.
I don't even use the gravy. I'm not with that, but They give you gravy with it. I was like,
I got it from Seafood City when I went to Seafood City to
Okay.
get groceries, and then I just stopped in Jollibee, and that was my very first time at Jollibee, and I got a spicy chicken sandwich. But here's the thing: I took it home, right? I didn't eat it there.
okay,
So maybe, I don't know.
that could be it. All right, I guess we're gonna have to.
But like, burgers to me is probably chicken sandwiches to you, right? So like,
Could be.
right? I
Could
think
be.
that's what it is.
That might
like,
be a fair
you have a greater
analysis.
appreciation for it.
That could be the case. All right, next episode. Which chicken sandwich reigns supreme?
Right.
So let's go ahead and move on to the next segment, which is a live demo
Oh yeah.
of our cupping that we did. You have any thoughts about the cupping, post cupping?
It was pretty insightful. My favorite part was actually just the beginning, probably smelling the dry beans, the dry. Would you call it the dry?
The fragrance?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The difference between
Yeah.
fragrance and aroma.
Yeah.
But only because like I picked up more from it, and
Okay.
then I've never done any part of the process of cupping before, but breaking the crust and things like that, and then like letting it pop into your nose, and not only that, but like swishing it around on your tongue, and then exhaling with your mouth closed,
Yeah.
like all the subtleties. It really helps you gain an appreciation for coffee.
Yeah.
And you can really, I'm waiting. This is only episode 2, but go down a rabbit hole. With this stuff.
Of
So-
tasting more stuff and
Yeah.
there's a real technique to actually using your senses, your olfaction, your taste sense, and we just walk through that and show how it applies to cupping and just how you can kind of dig a little bit deeper and get those nuances out of it, because that's what we live for. We live for the nuance. So I hope you enjoy this cupping and try it at home. And if you have any questions or any things you want to ask of me and how to cup better, feel free to leave a comment below.
Cool. See you next time, guys.
Yeah, see ya. Peace. All right, let's do it.
Cool.
So yeah, we're gonna walk through a coffee cupping. Cupping is something that's done in the professional world to essentially evaluate the coffee. You do this on several different levels, actually. So when you initially get a sample of green coffee and you roast it, so if you're gonna be building a relationship with the farm and you just wanna check the pure quality of the coffee, one of the things you would do is just roast up a small sample on a little tabletop roaster called a sample roaster. And then you would just be roasting that just to kind of sample the quality of it. And then from there, let's say you onboard this coffee and you actually bring it in. You want to then start roasting at different levels to find like the sweet spot for just whatever profile you want to develop for that coffee.
Okay.
And then that would necessitate another series of cupping to find that different roast level.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a walkthrough of the most basic cupping that we do. And this is just comparing 2 different coffees, really.
Okay.
So just to keep it very simple, you have one coffee that is roasted darker than the other, one coffee that is roasted lighter than the other. We'll keep it very simple and just kind of approach that. I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough, just what the process will look like, and then we'll go ahead and do it.
Sure.
So the first thing we're going to do is with the coffee, you want to have everything we do in grams, okay? So have a gram scale at home and make sure that you're just measuring in grams. It makes life really easy. So you want to do an 18-to-1 ratio. So for every 1 gram of coffee, you would do 18 grams of water.
Okay.
So generally that would end up working out to, if you did 10 grams of coffee, which is what this is, that would be about 6 ounces of water.
Okay.
You can look at it that way.
Cool.
So yeah, that's what these cups are kind of spec'd out for, so they're going to be filled to the top. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to assess the fragrance of the coffee. So in this particular case, we can just pick up the cups, kind of shake them around just to get them a little agitated, and then cover it up with your hand like this and just kind of smell it. Put your nose just in there like you're playing the harmonica.
Whoa.
Yep.
It's so fruity.
And then put it back and then grab the other one, same thing. Nose in there.
Spicy.
Spicy. So first one's fruity, second one's spicy.
Yeah.
Okay. So you probably have an idea already of like which one is the light and which one's the dark, yeah?
Yeah. Light.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Light, dark.
Okay.
So to give you like the next level of understanding of how to really smell the coffee, so this is one thing that I want you to do. So let's pick up our light roast because that one has like a really fruit bomby, so it's like more noticeable in terms of being able to tell the difference in smelling technique. So for the first one, just smell it as you normally would. Cup your hand over it and just kind of smell it. All right? Okay, that's one. Now, instead of doing that, do the same thing, but open your mouth a little bit and just allow a little bit of airflow to come in through your mouth at the same time that you breathe. So basically what you're doing is breathing through your nose and your mouth at the same time, just gently.
And your mouth is still over this?
So your mouth can be outside.
Oh, it can be outside.
Yeah, so it'll be like
Oh, that's crazy.
this,
Okay.
but just, it's a very like slow drag.
Okay.
It's like a cigar almost, like. Yeah,
Okay.
very slow drag.
I'll try.
Go ahead.
I get more of like a coffee taste to it, less than a fruity.
Yeah. So basically, now go back in between the two. So smell it again normally, mouth closed, and then right after that, exhale, and then smell it again, mouth open, letting air come in through the mouth as well.
Okay.
Do you feel the difference?
It's like very similar, but it's like more robust. But
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
So when you breathe in through the mouth as well, you're actually agitating the molecules more. So you're creating turbulence
Oh, wow.
in your sinus cavity.
Oh, okay.
So imagine you're just breathing in one direction through the nose.
Yeah.
You have a certain amount of those molecules hitting your olfactory nerves,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
When you introduce a second airflow source, you increase the turbulence, so it's just hitting more.
Interesting,
So
okay,
it fills your head up a little bit more.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, so that's the technique that I like to use for just kind of really filling my head with the aroma
So
of it.
you start without the mouth, and then you do the mouth, or you
I just do the mouth
do
straight.
the mouth. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more so to demonstrate the difference between the
Gotcha.
two.
Okay.
And then another little technique too. Obviously, when you're doing a cupping, you want to make sure you're not wearing any cologne or any sort of like
No cologne here.
deodorant or like no gum or you didn't brush your teeth or anything like that. Stay super neutral. I like to have like sparkling water or a cucumber beforehand, just like to really clean my palate off. And then in between coffees, if you're doing like different coffees, another thing you can do is if you're wearing long sleeves, you can put your nose in the crook of your elbow like this and smell yourself. That resets your olfactory as
Okay.
well. So because you still have some kind of leftover
Sure.
aroma from this. So if you really want to reset yourself as well, just smell yourself.
Okay.
And then you can approach the next coffee and you'll get even more depth out of that coffee because now you've kind of purged your olfactory and reset it.
Yeah.
Cool. So now that we've done that part, we're going to move on to the aroma evaluation.
Okay.
So this is where we add hot water to the top. Pardon me.
Mhm.
All right. So now you can see it's starting to form a crust on top of it.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to just kind of kneel down and smell this crust. At this point, we're not touching the coffee anymore.
Okay.
Because any additional agitation is going to change the extraction. And if we were to touch one, we'd have to touch them all the same, and that's just impossible.
Yeah.
So the best thing to do is not touch them at all.
Okay.
So we just kind of lower our level and just kind of get like a nice smell of it using the same breathing technique. So do you notice any differences between?
They're more subtle now.
Mhm.
Kind of want to be wrapped with it, like like a blanket.
Yeah.
But like so, it's a little more difficult to tease out the subtleties
Right.
now that it's with water.
Exactly. Yeah. So the differences get muddled once you add
Okay.
water to it.
Makes sense.
And then also too, if you notice, I use two different words. I use the word fragrance and the word aroma. So at least in coffee parlance, fragrance refers to the dry smell.
Okay.
And aroma refers to the wet smell.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, so
Cool.
I don't know if those translate into other
Yeah.
food and beverages.
But that's official.
That's official,
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
So
cool.
fragrance strictly refers to the dry
I
smell.
had no idea.
And aroma the wet.
Because aren't fragrances like colognes?
They are.
Right? Isn't that interesting?
But I guess they dry out on your...
Damn.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna just go ahead and... Yeah, they really become quite similar to each other, even though these coffees are incredibly different.
Really?
The aroma is just not as well articulated as the fragrance, which is why you do both. All right. So now we're gonna go ahead and break the top. So we're just going to simply drop the back of the spoon across the surface, and then just kind of like breaking a pond. Actually, that's a perfect analogy.
Breaking the pond.
You ever throw water into a pond and then it stinks?
Stinks?
Yeah, like a pond of water, like any stagnant water.
Oh, because you open it's kind of like
yeah.
poopery.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, you're just allowing that gas to come off the surface of the water. So we're going to do the same here. So we get nice and close.
Oh, and we're smelling
Yep.
simultaneously.
And then we take it on out and rinse the spoon. Yep. So you see when you did that, you did get a little pop of aroma that was stronger than the initial aroma you got from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we're going to do the same thing to the second one. Now,
It's cool.
in my opinion, at least, when we broke the surface, they actually became more distinct again. They still are more similar than it was dry,
Yeah.
I feel. But when I broke the surface from the first one, the fruitiness, which was completely gone once we...
Came back?
Yeah, it came back. Just like that one little berry note came back.
Okay.
And then with this one, like the roast became more obvious to me.
Yeah.
Just that higher level
Yeah, I
roast.
did notice that one, yeah.
Yeah, and then some kind of savory, almost like nuttiness.
Yeah, it's hard to put words to it, but that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, this like the nuttiness kind of popped off
Yeah.
a little bit more.
I didn't notice the fruitiness from the first one, but with the second one, yeah, the savoriness and the nuttiness came after I broke the crust.
All right, so at this point, what we're gonna do, and I'll do this part.
Sure.
If I can borrow your spoon.
Yeah.
So, I'm just gonna clean off the top of these boys, like so.
Wow.
This is one of those things too where there's like secretly competition between coffee guys who can do this faster and cleaner, like who can get a nice clean surface faster. So like at cuppings where there's like dozens and dozens of cups, like you might have 25 cups on the table, we see who can clean off all their cups faster and like leave less residue floating on the top.
Is that like an unofficial competition?
You know, it's one of those things where no one talks about it, but you know everyone's doing it.
It's like a unofficial sign of mastery in a way.
Exactly, yeah, it's one of those things we just kind of flex on each other.
Yeah.
So. There we go. All right. It's yours. And then we're just gonna let these boys sit and cool off.
Okay.
Typically, you want to make it to where your tongue can actually, because if it's too hot, your tongue can't perceive the difference.
Okay.
So you just want to get it to the point where you can kind of hold it like really casually. So that's usually like a 4-minute kind of wait.
Sure.
So we're gonna let these guys just sit here, and then we'll come back in 4 minutes.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in this time, we'll change out the water. All right, so we're back 4 minutes later, and these cups of coffee are ready to be tasted. Cool, so we'll take our spoons now.
Okay.
And go ahead and just make sure that we get just off the very surface of the top of the coffee, get a little sample of that.
Okay.
And then rinse in between cups.
So it's important to get some air in there? Or?
Yeah, so you want to slurp it like noodles, basically.
Okay.
It's important to just aerate it, and really, like that agitation gets just more of your sense involved.
Okay.
You know, your aromatic sense, and then also your taste sense.
Okay. Oh, definitely more spicy on the second one.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And what you can taste, like that heaviness from the second one,
Yeah.
that's like specifically from the roast. It's got a heavierness that just sits on your tongue a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And then is there anything you're doing in your mouth?
So typically what I'm doing is when I slurp, I'm letting it kind of slide on my tongue, and then I like to kind of swish it, like not over my teeth, but just over my tongue itself. So I'll kind of let you see it, and then I'll explain
Sure.
it. So it's like, get some.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, and just really
Wash it over the
wash
tongue.
it over the tongue big time.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. That's
And
cool.
then another thing you can do actually too, to get your olfactory more involved, is do that same thing. Keep your mouth closed, swallow it, and then exhale through your nose while your mouth is still closed, and you'll smell it.
Okay. Oh yeah.
You got it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Just you get like a little bit more of it. Just there are these little things you can do to just get some extra aspect from the coffee. I think that's called retrograde olfaction.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
On the way out. in a
Yeah,
way,
yeah. So, walking through why someone at home might want a cup
I was
of
just
coffee.
thinking that.
Yeah. Why might you want a cup of coffee? So here's an example. Let's say, obviously this is going to be for anyone who wants to really take their coffee to the next level, just as a consumer at home. So here's one reason you might do it. Let's say you want to try different water sources. So you have your unfiltered water from your sink, and then you have maybe water that you put through a filter, and then you have maybe water that you get from a different supplier, a source, and you can use the exact same coffee, exact same ratio and specs, but just try them all side by side and see if you see any difference
Interesting.
in the coffee.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the great things about cupping is because you can walk away from this and come back half an hour and taste it again. And you'll still pick up even more differences from the coffee. Like over time, it'll change even more.
Right.
And it's not, you don't run into a huge risk of it over extracting.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just the nature of cupping.
Is it because it's at the top or?
Well, it's for whatever reason, like the strength of it, it just doesn't lend itself to being like too oppressive, even if it sits for a long period of time.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, you don't want to like make a habit of it. It's like not
Yeah.
the best way to consume coffee.
Right.
But it's very interesting to go back. Like I've done cuppings before and walked away from coffee for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, come back, and it's not dry and sandy or anything like that, like you would get.
It's not bitter.
It's not bitter.
Okay.
It just tastes different. It gets heavier and it gets it loses its like zip. It just kind of gets flat after a while, but you're still kind of tasting things.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's one reason why you might want to try cupping at home is just to compare water sources,
Yeah.
to compare coffees directly to each other. You have like, let's say your usual go-to coffee, and then you see an alternative. Well, you can compare them side by side in a really nice, convenient way. You can also do this alongside with a partner and kind of walk through it together and get their
cool.
opinion.
Yeah.
So that's something you could do. And then also here's another interesting thing too. Let's say you have a coffee that you normally like to get. As you're running out of that coffee, you can get a new batch of it and compare the new to the old.
Oh.
And just
okay.
see what the coffee tastes like compared to a new batch of that coffee versus the old
Yeah.
batch of that coffee.
Okay.
So
That's cool.
yeah, it really lends itself to a bunch of different applications, but this is kind of the standard that the industry set itself upon in terms of evaluating coffee.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm gonna get a little bit more of this before we finish up. See, actually, as you let it sit too, you'll notice. Well, I'll let you. I don't want to influence you yet, but is there anything you notice different after it's sat for a while?
It's more robust.
It's sweeter too. And you can start to see where the coffees are diverging, like in terms of how roast changes a coffee. Because I'm really just getting the roast, like, this is not a terribly dark roasted coffee, but the roast is standing out more.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed that too.
Yeah. And cupping,
So does that take away from the bean then?
I think ultimately, if you're talking about it on a personal preference level, it really depends on the person.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about it in terms of an industry level, it does.
Okay.
Yeah. Roast is not something that is, it's something we stray away from in the industry. We don't like to taste roast.
Okay.
Yeah, that if because what we're looking for is just the kind of inherent flavor of the bean that has been developed and highlighted by the roast,
Right.
But not the actual application of roast flavor to the bean. Yeah. So, and that's where the big schism in coffee lies in terms of the professional and the consumer. Is the consumer really has been acclimated to roast.
Well, and what about unroasted at all? What unroasted beans?
Unroasted beans just taste like papery, strawy.
Oh, okay.
You can barely grind them; they're too hard.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so that's not something that ever really gets done aside from like maybe some green coffee extract, like kind of medicinal type stuff.
And what about light roast then?
Light roast, yeah. So, and there's like a whole degree of light roasting.
Oh.
So basically, there became this idea that if roasting lighter is good, then roasting even lighter is better. And there became this kind of style that's called the Nordic style of coffee, where they do very lightly, like cinnamon colored roasts.
Okay.
And for me personally, I think it can be too acidic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just because when you roast dark, one of the things that the industry people don't like is that it gets rid of the acidity. And when you roast light, that's when you have like kind of maximum acidity of the coffee.
Okay.
Because just the roasting process develops different organic acids.
Okay.
And just for me, like the super duper light roast, it's just way too acidic. It's just super sour. It's like green apple, like you know, like Granny Smith. Like imagine a Granny Smith that's not ripe.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of stuff, and for me, it's not too.
Gotcha.
it's not
Good
too
to know.
I like that sweet spot where you get the acidity, you get that nice uplifting feeling, but at the same time, like it's developed some sweetness to actually kind of counterbalance it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Cool.
So yeah, thanks for tuning in on this cupping, and we're gonna get back to your normally scheduled episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do it.
Peace.
Just wanna be a mini me. All these just wanna be a mini me. All these just wanna be a mini me. Friend of me, any me. All these just wanna be a mini me. All these just wanna be a mini me. All these just wanna be a mini me.